agents, and welcome back to our new networking webinar about studying in France with Burgundy School of Business. And our speaker today will be Mr. Prakash, International Recruitment Manager, and I'm Jones, Marketing Specialist from Net24.
Thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. I work for Burgundy School of Business. My name is Prakash Saklani. Prakash is my first name. You can call me by that. I've been working with BSP for past 3 years, helping them develop for the South Asian market. We have individual people for individual regions of the world, and I'll come to that as well during our presentation, all right? So first of all, I think it's very important for a lot of people to understand about France because it's definitely a very sought after country in terms of education, but not everyone knows about it. So I'll talk a bit about France, then I'll move on to BSP and other things as well. All right. So talking about France in general, it's very good to know that it is the 7th largest economy in the world. So of course you have a lot of opportunities. The lifestyle is really good over here. Life is quite settled. You have very good labor laws. So a lot of times I think students or people ask us, okay, how is the lifestyle? How is the living conditions in France? If you guys have heard any news around recently, you know the protest happening in France. It is because of all the labor laws, how active people are, how passionate they are about their work and the amount of time they give to work and their personal life. So the work-life balance is really good in France in that sense. And we fight for it, ideally. We have fought for it for many years, and it will go on. So you can understand the kind of system over here, which is, and in general, I think France has one of the highest number of Fortune 500 companies. You have very good innovative companies. You have a lot of startup space over here as well. So a lot of students are interested in that. A lot of, especially South or Asian students are a lot into startups, tech and all that. So France has a very huge industry in terms of startup, tech, AI, aerospace and all that. So it can be a very good market for them. Other than that, I think in general, quality of education in France is very good. It is because of multiple factors. Over the period of time, the French government, the education ministry has invested a lot. They have made sure that the quality of education is above standard in most of the schools. You have a very good higher education system over here called Grande École, which literally means big schools if you translate it in English. So overall, the education system is really good in France for students. In terms of BSP, we are ideally located. Our main campuses are in 2 cities. One is Dijon. If you can see in the map in the middle, that's Dijon. It's around. It's not that far from Paris. And the second campus is in Lyon. So our main campus is in the city called Dijon. I'll explain you a bit about that as well. What it means to be studying in Dijon for a student. Dijon is ideally around 90 minutes by train from Paris, so the capital of the city, and 90 minutes by train from Lyon, which is the second biggest city in France. So 2 big cities, it's around 90 minutes by train from there. The city itself is one of the safest cities in France. It's a very beautiful city, very student-friendly city, very green city. You have a lot of walking spaces. So when I say walking spaces, ideally, I think I repeat this sentence a lot to my students as well, and they are also surprised when they reach to our main campus, Dijon, wherein they literally can walk anywhere in the city. They don't need public transport, even though we have very good public transport. We have good buses, we have good tram in the city. The train station is like 10 minutes walking from the city center. The campus itself is in the city center, so they don't really need to walk too much to go and attend their classes. Ideally, students live around 10-15 minutes away from the campus, so they walk to their school every day. That's one of the biggest plus point, to be honest, in these days when a student, especially coming from a different country, they have to adapt to a lot of things, and they have to, of course, manage their budget, and travel expense becomes their bigger worry. In that sense, Dijon as well is a very budget-friendly city, very affordable city. The cost of living is quite low compared to other cities. And like I said, there's a lot of green spaces. It's a very beautiful historic city. So if you see the right side image of the city building itself. So you have a lot of such charming old buildings over here. You have a lot of green spaces. You have you do have cycling spaces as well. So if someone is interested in cycling, also something you need to understand about French culture, cycling is kind of like in their blood. They really, really love to cycle. So all across the France, you have a lot of cycling tracks as well. But especially in Dijon, it's much more convenient to drive in the city traffic because you have dedicated spaces, right? Ideally. Talking about a secondary campus, which is Lyon, it's again a very modern campus. It's quite new. It's a smaller campus compared to Dijon, but it's definitely a modern one because it has been recently constructed. And Lyon, ideally, is a city known for tech, AI, and all the startup spaces. So Lyon is becoming the hub of tech and AI for France, as well as Europe, as well as there's a lot of investment in startups over there. So that's why we have a very specific set of programs in Leo campus, and I'll talk about it when I talk about the programs as well. Talking about the campus, it's again located in the city, not in the old Leo, which is kind of like called the city center over here, you can call, but definitely not so far from that. So it's accessible by tram, it's accessible by train, by bus routes, and it's in the city itself. And a very beautiful, very modern looking campus. Sometimes I tell students it has a very Google office sort of vibe when you enter it, the campus itself. So that's our Lyon campus. Talking about our credentials, we are one of the Grande École in France. So in France, ideally, there are more than 200 business schools, out of which only 37 business schools are recognized under this label called Conférence des Grandes Écoles. Basically, this is, if you look at the logo at the bottom, the first logo, that's something you should look at when you're looking at a French business school specifically. It's a marker just for you to understand it's amongst the top business schools or amongst the top recognized institutes in the country. We are a triple accredited institute. So we have AACSB, Equus, and AMBA, which are the only international recognition for a business school all across the globe. We are amongst the top 120 institutes in the world to get all three accreditations. So definitely a very good plus point for us. Our masters ideally has been ranked 63rd in the top best masters in management in the world by Financial Times. So definitely one of the most sought after programs in France, ideally. And then in general, like I said, since we are a triple accredited institute, very highly recognized by the French government, the quality of education overall is really, really good. You have the holistic sort of approach over here at BSB, and I'll get into a bit more details of that. In general, I think also something you need to understand initially, I was mentioning Grande École, so the big schools. In France, there are many schools out there. There are universities and there are private schools. So all universities are public. You don't have any private university, so to say, in France. It can't be. Any university has to be public, which are more research oriented, much more academic oriented. And then you have private business schools and engineering schools, which are more than 200 out there, but amongst them only 37 are recognized under Conférence des Grandes Écoles, or CGE is how they abbreviate it. That's the marker of quality, and only around 2% of the international students coming in France are able to study in such schools. So definitely it's a big, kind of a selling point that they are in a premium league of schools if they're coming to study at BSB. In terms of student services, so I like to start with what we offer other than the education part. We have a career booster system over here. We have a dedicated career department which helps students look into, enhance their work skills, enhance their soft skills, look for internships, looking for jobs and all that. In France, or I think in most of the business schools these days in the world, the year-end placement system is less there. Rather than throughout the year, you have the opportunity to seek employers, to seek job opportunities, reach out to your coaches, in-house coaches, which are available for you free of cost, book calls with them, try to get help from them in trying to understand how to approach a specific profile, how to approach a specific company. So that sort of help is given to you. You have a very personalized approach here at BSB. You're given access to platforms like Hired and Job Teaser, wherein students can apply for jobs or internships. They can even find companies over there who have tied up with us. So that means their application will be given preference over other students, ideally. We have more than, I think now the number has grown even more because we recently had our graduation ceremony, but it's in general more than 17,000 alumni. We often organize alumni meet for students to interact, for students to network with them, and kind of take advantage of the vast alumni network we have ideally. Let's go straight to the programs which we offer now. So at bachelor's level, we have bachelor's in management. Keep in mind, this is a business and management institute. So all the programs which we offer will have business and management centric ideas, ideally. Okay, so bachelor's which we offer to students is a 3 years bachelor's degree, internationally recognized by the state as well. It's ideally a very customized degree. So you have a lot of electives, you have a lot of options to select during your studies. The best part is you have short classroom sizes for all the programs in BSP. So you'll have 35 to 40 students maximum per batch. Where you don't have 100, 200 students sitting in a classroom where you don't have personal attention at all. Over here, it's more of a discussion than a lecture. At BSP, you have a lot of one-to-one interaction with your professor, with your counterparts, your colleagues, and all that. Since we are still a French business school, I think we have a very good number of international students. We have around 25% of international students per batch. Rest of them are French students. Keep in mind, students have the option to study either the complete program in English or the complete program in French. So if they're studying in English, of course, they'll be sitting with French students who are studying in English. So they will still have, easy, it will be for them to, a rapport build with them, dwell around with them, network with them and all that. You have up to around 13 months of internship involved over the period of 3 years. For the program. The program is available, or the cost of the program is 8,500 euros per year for this intake. Okay, each year we might evaluate the inflation level and accordingly we might adjust it a bit, but in general it is around this price. Okay, so you can reach out to me for updated information on this, but currently it's 8,500 per year. We also have a third year entry option. So if a student is already studying bachelor's somewhere and he wishes to straight away enroll to our third year, we will look at the background, we will look at the credentials, and accordingly we can judge if he or she can directly enter our bachelor's third year program or not. Okay, I think I'm running a bit short on time, so I'll try to push it a bit faster. It's 9,500 if the student
No,
directly goes.
no
All right.
problem. We have 30 minutes left, so no more than 30 minutes. No, take your time.
Great. Thank you. So 9,500 euros for the third year if they wish to enter directly in the third year. All right. We definitely have specializations available inside the bachelor in management. So specializations are done in the third year. That's when they choose any of these specializations available in our campus, all right, with BSP. Other than that, they also have an option to go abroad and do specialization with one of our partner institute. I'll explain about that system as well after the programs, okay? So that was bachelor's level. For master's level, the first program which we offer is master's in management, or Grande École. Like I said, it's part of the Grande École system. So it's again a dedicated degree for a Grande École, a recognized institute in France. The degree is called Master in Management. In French, it's called Master Grande École. So master from a Grande École, big school. It's a 2-year degree. First year, you learn basic management modules. And in the second year, you choose a specialization. Again, the same concept, 35 to 40 students per classroom. You have face-to-face classes only. You have a lot of face-to-face hours with your professors. You have a lot of excellence modules to choose from. So excellence modules into innovation, technology, anything to do with your later specialization, you will have the option to choose in the first year, and the second year, you will have the option to choose the specialization for the whole year. Again, completely taught in English or French, up to you, up to the student to ideally, decide. Most of our international students go for English track, unless if they're coming from French-speaking Africa, then they tend to go for the French track. The tuition fees right now is 12,500 per year. So for total 2 years, it's 25,000 euros in general. Then comes the specialization. In the second year is when the student chooses a specialization. In terms of specialization, they can either choose any of these specialization modules, or they can even go for any of our MSc. So ideally, if a student, instead of choosing a general specialization over here, goes for an MSc degree, the student can get a dual degree, right? So he'll get a master's in management plus a MSc degree in 2 years. In the second year, they just do their MSc as a specialization for master in management. And in terms of MScs, again, same. They're highly sector driven, highly highly concentrated on in a specific area of study. In general, MScs are 14,000 euros, but when you do it for the specialization with masters in management, you don't pay the MSc fee. You only pay your masters in management fee, and you still get a dual degree. A student can directly go for MSc instead of doing a 2-year master's. So that's when they pay 14,000 euros for the MSc, all right? MScs, which we have available in our institute, is corporate finance investment banking, arts and cultural management, data science and organizational behavior, luxury management, wine management, artificial intelligence, digital technology, green tech and sustainable society. So like I was mentioning to you, Lyon is a very specific city. That's why we only have artificial intelligence and green tech MSc is available in Lyon, because that area or the Lyon region has a huge industry focused in this, like huge number of industries focused in these areas of studies ideally. So you have a very good job market in Lyon. That's why we have dedicated, and these two specializations are only available in Lyon, and rest of the specializations or masters or bachelors, they're only available in Dijon campus, the main campus. All right. We do have a two dedicated French specialization, is what we call them, master spécialisé. One is master management de entreprise culturelle et industrie creative. So it's kind of like an arts and cultural master's specialization dedicated in French, available in Paris. All right, so we only have one program in our Paris campus. We do have a small campus or a small classroom in Paris, ideally. I don't mention it often because it's just 2 classrooms, if I understand correctly, and it's only for this program, which is MECEC, basically the program short name is. Then we have a second program which has to do with wine and spirits industries, which is Commerce International de Vin et Spiritueux. So again, it's a 1-year program. All these are 1-year programs. And this program is dedicated for wine and spirits, commercial industry of wine and spirits, ideally. All right. During the bachelor's explanation, I was telling you something about in the second year of bachelor's, a student can, instead of doing specialization in our campus, they can go to one of our partner institute and do the 3rd year specialization over there. That goes for masters as well. In the master's second year, they can go to any of our partner institutes around the globe, do their specialization for the second year over there. They still receive a dual degree, 1 degree from the partner institute and 1 degree from us. And in most of the cases, they don't pay any extra tuition fees or any extra fees to the partner institute. All they pay is our tuition fees, which is definitely a very big plus point for students. They can have experience for 2 different countries, 2 different institutes, and can choose a huge number of specializations available with our partner institutes, which are more than 200 now, ideally. And these are all internationally recognized institutes. So very good quality of institutes are there in our list. I can share the details with you via brochures, and you can definitely consult with your student if they're interested in this. All right. Now, coming to a very important topic, which I usually start in the beginning of my presentation, but since you are all agents, I decided to start it later. We are called Burgundy School of Business because of a specific reason. Because the region where we were established in, that region is called Burgundy, or Bourgogne in French, ideally. That region's name is Burgundy. That's why we are called Burgundy School of Business. And this region ideally produces world's most expensive wines. So amongst the 50 most expensive wines in the world, around 35 are produced around 20 kilometers from our campus. So this region is very, very well known for its wine. And of course, we specialize in wine business. So our wine business education is one of the most revered or one of the most recognized programs which we deliver in the world. We are amongst the top four, five best wine management program providers in the world. We have a dedicated faculty called School of Wine and Spirits Business inside our Dijon campus. It's a very innovative faculty. Ideally, you have a lot of engagement with the industry, a lot of engagement with the vineyards like this. So this is when I was saying 20 kilometers from campus. This such area starts 10 kilometers from Dijon. So all these vineyards, and these vineyards go back 2,000 years. So they are one of the most old vineyards in the world. Ideally, one of the most recognized heritage vineyards in the world. They are actually, some of them are under UNESCO heritage sites. Actually, the whole area actually comes under UNESCO heritage site, and we call it Climat de Bourgogne, so the vineyards of Burgundy, basically. In terms of programs which we did, yes.
Oh no, I just wanted to ask you, so 30%, 35% of the best wine from France was from was grown from your campus.
So around the world, amongst the top 50 most expensive wines, 35 are produced in these vineyards, which I'm showing to you. So wine business is a very big area of pride for us, ideally, and we deliver one of the best wine business programs in the world.
This is even better than what I heard. Like what my idea before. This is even better. It is mind blowing. Okay, please.
Burgundy is what I call Mecca of wine, ideally. But I know Bordeaux people will disagree with me. But Bordeaux is much more commercialized. We are much more heritage wines and much more older wines in our regions. Definitely, they compete with us. But in terms of wine business, our school is one of the best, ideally.
Okay, I cannot wait.
We have dedicated wine programs. So we have only one MBA in our school, which is Wine and Spirits Business MBA. The MBA is for 1 year, and it is for 32,000 euros. A very, very extensive program, very, very demanding program. I think if I'm correct, there are around 650 hours of study in total within 1 year, which includes your travel and all that. Keep in mind, most of the institutes, they charge you while you're traveling for wine-related studies. For us, everything is included in the tuition fees. When they are traveling, let's say to New York, let's say to Greece, let's say to Germany for wine events, wine vineyard visits, and all that, everything, the cost is covered inside the tuition fees. They only pay for their fooding while they're traveling, ideally. The second program which we offer is another MSc. It's a 1-year MSc, which is called MSc in Wine Management. MBA is ideally for much more experienced people. MSc Wine Management is someone who is a starter or at a very early stage and wants to enter wine industry. While MBA can be anywhere from 5-10 years of experience. We have even had people with more than 20 years of experience doing MSc or MBA in wine, ideally. Then the third program is what I was telling you about before, Commerce International Vin Spiritueux. This is an MS 1-year program, dedicated, only available in French. It does have 20% of modules in English, but that's just because of the commerce, the international trade in wine industry. But otherwise, you need a perfect French to join this French program. We have wine tourism as a specialization in bachelor's. When I was telling you initially about bachelor's, third year, you choose a specialization. We have wine tourism as a specialization, ideally over there. You get to explore a lot. You get to kind of dive into the world of wine as well as spirits. So it's not just wine, you have spirits. When I talk about spirits, it means whiskey, it means gin, it means vodka. So you have all those industries, information about all those industries taught at school. Keep in mind, we are a business and management school. So you will learn the business and management aspect of the industry. You will have product knowledge, you will have a lot of tasting, but not really, you'll not be studying wine growing over here. You'll understand that part, but that's not the majority of the program. So it's purely business and management centric. Now, coming back to our history, ideally, Burgundy School of Business, located in Burgundy, we were established in 1899, ideally one of the oldest business schools in the world. We have been delivering business education since more than 120 years now, and still standing tall, still with the same spirit, with the same pedagogy. We have been delivering programs. We have a very niche sort of program list, a niche sort of portfolio. We don't deliver anything and everything. We have very dedicated programs which we deliver, we choose, and we know we can deliver these programs in a very good way to our students, ideally. In terms of other facilities, we have student lounges, we have arts and cultural center, we have gym space for student dance studio, we have self-catering kitchen area wherein the students can heat their food and eat. We don't have any canteen inside the campus, but we do have this. And there are, like I said, we are located in city center, so student can easily walk 2 minutes, go to a shop and buy something to eat. Or they can just bring in food and heat up in the kitchen and eat there. We also have a very dedicated space in campus called the Entrepreneurial Garden. It is what it says, exactly what it means, basically, is that it's a space wherein you can develop your entrepreneurial ideas, your startup ideas. You will have access to our incubators, which will help you develop your ideas, which will help you work on your ideas, and then eventually help you pitch to a potential investor as well. Okay, so we do give that option to students as well over here. In terms of application, everything is online. We have a 4-step application process. First step is when you ideally submit your application online, which is, again, there are 4 things: academic information, personal information, your documents, so your educational and your CV and all that, and your tuition fees. Application fees. Just to inform you that being a registered partner or a registered agent with us, we will waive off the tuition fees for your students. So that can be additional marketing points for you. Each year, our application deadline is around July. We have only one intake, which is September intake each year, and deadline is July for that year. The application opens in October. So for next intake, the application will open this October. All right. So once the online application is submitted, and basically the admission office checks the documents, and if everything is good, they proceed with the interview. All the programs have an interview. The only major difference between a wine program, a wine school program, and other programs is, for wine school program, you have one-on-one interview with the program director. So you'll have a call with the program director. And for the rest of the interviews, it's one way. So the student will be sent a link to record themselves answering a few questions. They will have certain amount of time for each question. So please get them prepared to be on their foot and be ready to answer. Questions are basically related to their background, their education, their dedication to or motivation to study in France, study abroad, why the specific programs, and maybe 1 or 2 technical questions related to the program, ideally. The most important part is for the student to be open-minded, much more descriptive, and I can help you out before for your first initial students to understand how they can prepare themselves for the interview, if you like. All right. Once the interview is done, everything is good, they receive their offer letter. Once they receive their offer letter, they are given 20 days to pay the deposit amount. Deposit amount varies from program to program, but most of the program, it's 4,000 euros, which is deducted from the tuition fees. Okay. And for wine programs, again, it's different because of the cost of the wine program is higher. Again, I'll share with you all these information so that you'll have it handy. All right. Once they pay, they receive the final admission letter. After the admission letter, depending on the country where they live in, either they apply at Campus France first to validate their student application for France, or they directly apply to the embassy. But at least embassy part is common in every country. Campus France is in some country mandatory, in some country not. All right. Most of the Asian countries, Campus France is mandatory. So you will have to go through Campus France process and then the visa process for the student. Meanwhile, they will be in touch with our international relations team, which will help them prepare themselves for reaching France, for their initial days in France, ideally. All right. So that's pretty much it about the application process. This is my team. So I currently handle the Indian subcontinent. Ideally, I'll be taking over the whole South Asia, not Southeast Asia, but South Asia. So this is my team. You can reach out to them individually if you like, for your specific markets. But in any case, if you have any doubts, you can directly reach out to me and I'll connect you to the right person, ideally. All right. This is our general email, but I'll be sharing, you will have my email ID on the platform, on Net24. Very good platform, I must say. The way they have created it, it's very user-friendly, very easy to use. Definitely, you can find my details and details about our institute over there, all right? With this, I end my presentation and I am open for questions. So feel free to ask your questions. I'll be happy to answer. I do see that Manjari Singh has asked about scholarship. Thank you so much for asking about it. I completely forgot to mention it in the slide. We don't have 100% scholarship. We do give partial scholarship to our students, up to 50% only on the first year of tuition fees, okay? Only on the first year tuition fees and up to 50%. It depends on student to student. I think if you want to understand in terms of the exact amount, the maximum scholarship offered is around 16,000 euros, which is for MBA program. And the maximum scholarship for Masters in Management is around 6,000 euros. Maximum scholarship for an MSc program is 3,500 euros, if I'm correct. Maximum for bachelor's is 2,000 euros. All right. These are dedicated scholarship, partial scholarship. Our tuition fees are very, very reasonable, so we don't have huge amount of scholarship as well for that reason. Thank you for the question. What is the tuition deposit for double degree masters? Again, the tuition deposit for Masters in Management is 4,000 euros. All the Masters and MSc is 4,000 euros, except MBA, which is 10,000 euros deposit. MSc Wine Management, which is 5,000 euros deposit. Rest, all of them is exactly 4,000 euros. Something I wanted to add, current year's intake, like I said, it ends in July, so it's still open. In case you already have students, don't hesitate, reach out to me. Contract signing, even if it takes 10 days, I can still help you process your student and we will get the contract thing sorted. It's all, as long as we have a working relationship, you don't need to worry about, okay, it will take long, I have a student, how do we do it? I'm here to help you out in all these scenarios. Organizing it, again, thank you. Please convey my thanks to Patricia as well. She's always there helping out, always reaching out to me. And it's always helpful to see a person, or always good to see a person, polite and, understanding and all that, it's always a good thing. Thank you for your team.
Yes, she's awesome.
Bye.
Bye, agencies.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for
Bye-bye.
coming. Thank you.